Welcome to needlepointers.com's tutorial on how to make a quick and easy pot holder. I had some of these cute panels left over from another project, so I thought it would be fun to make pot holders using them. What you need is you need your panel, or it could just be a piece of fabric that is 7 or 8 inches square. You need a backing. This is my backing that I'm going to use. You need a piece of batting, and you need something called Insulbrite, and also some double fold biased tape that's a 1/2 inch wide. The Insulbrite is used so that it will withstand the heat when you're using the pot holder. What you want to do is to put your right panel up, then the Insulbrite, a piece of batting, and the backing. I'm going to use a couple of pins to just pin it in place to hold them together. Now, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to quilt it. As you see, I did a little quilting on this one. So I'm going to use my triangle ruler, and I'm going to draw a line with a pencil right on the top, just one line, lightly with a pencil. Then I'm going to take my presser foot, and mine comes with this bar that you can use for a guide, and I have it approximately 1.5 inches from so that my quilting will be about 1 inch and a, not 1.5 inches, about 1.25 inches, I'm sorry, 1.25 inches wide. Okay, the first thing you do is you're going to stitch along the pencil line that you made, and you don't need to back stitch or anything, and you should use a stitch length that is a little bit longer than normal. And then what you're going to do is you're going to use your guide to tell you where you're going to stitch next. So this is, I'm using that right along the stitching line that I stitched before. We're going to stitch all the way across this way, then we're going to turn it around and do our quilting on the other side. And what I mean by that is not the back. We're just going to turn this around, and here, use this again as our guide, and quilt the rest of it. And then I'll be back and I'll show you what the next step is. Okay, I finished quilting it. Also, I trimmed it and squared it off, and now we're ready to put the biased tape on it. Turn it over to the back side, unfold the tape, place it right along the edge, and we are going to be sewing right on the fold line. And when we get to the corner, I'll show you what to do. When you get to the corner, you want to stop about 1/4 inch from the corner with your needle down. And then you turn it and you stitch directly into the corner. You take your tape and you fold it back on that diagonal line. Then you fold it down with the top aligned with the raw edge on the top. And you can pin this if you'd like, and then you start stitching again to the next end. I'll show you again how to fold it. You're mitering the corner. You go until you're about 1/4 of an inch from the end. Lift your foot diagonally into that corner. Usually back stitch. Remove it from the machine. Now you're folding it back on a 45-degree angle where that diagonal was. Fold it down and align it with the raw edge at the top, and then begin to stitch again. Okay, I'm going to do the other one and then I'll show you what to do after. I mitered that third corner. This is where we started, and what we're going to do now is we're going to just fold this under and pin it in place like so. That's what it's going to look like on the other side. We're going to just pin it right now. And then we're going to continue to sew. Right to the end. I'm going to remove the pin because I don't want to sew over the pin, and back stitch. And we're going to cut this off approximately 4 inches from the end and leave about 4 inches. Now take it and turn it, the bias tape, to the right side. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pin it in place a little bit to hold it flat so it'll be easier to sew. And what we're going to be doing then is we're going to be sewing right along close to the fold here. So let me do a little pinning and then I'll show you. As you see, I have it pinned all the way around, and I did a little miter on the corners. And now we're going to start to sew. And we're going to sew close to the fold all the way around. And when you get to the corner, be careful. You want to get that underneath, and you're going to just push it down a little bit there. And then you're going to want to pivot with your needle down and continue on. Okay. So I'm going to stitch all the way around. And when I get to the other end, I'll show you then what you do. Okay, we're back to where we started, and what we're going to do is just continue to sew all along that little strip of bias tape that we left. The next step is, well, I should remove some of my threads, but you're going to turn this under. And stitch it in place. So you have your little loop that your pot holders normally have. And I usually stitch it back and forth just a couple of times. And your pot holder is complete. Did you like this video? Please like, share, and comment. Subscribe to our channel because we publish new crafting videos on Mondays and Thursdays. On Saturdays, we post quick tip videos and we share our personal crafting projects. Visit our website, needlepointers.com, for sewing how-tos and free sewing projects.